y'all, it is time for a garden tour. Week 3 to be exact. It's hard to believe that we are already 3 weeks into our garden tour season. It's really exciting, and that means that we are 1 week closer to harvesting, which are really close to that, and I will show you what all I'm talking about because there are some exciting things going on around here. But first, we are in the Perennial Garden again. The elderberry bushes have just about finished with the flowering. There's a couple more blooms up there, and hopefully they will be setting fruit very soon, and they should be loaded with berries with the way their flowers were. So we will have to net that once that happens, and I'm really excited about that. Down here I put my comfrey in the ground because it was in the pot and it was struggling because it just needs more space for its roots, more water. Kind of got a little wilted because of the lack of rain here, and so I went ahead and watered it. It's perked back up. We are having pretty much no rain whatsoever out here. I know that there's a lot of flooding going on out in the Midwest, really tragic historical flooding going on, and really sad situation for a lot of people and a lot of farmers. But here, I know on the east side of the United States, we are really suffering from not having enough rain in a lot of areas. We haven't had real rain in a couple weeks, and it was supposed to rain yesterday. The radar looked really good, so I was like, okay, I did water a couple things because they were looking a little puny, but I left everything, and then didn't rain. Nothing gets sprinkled. So it's supposed to really rain tomorrow, like legitimate pour down the rain all day tomorrow, and we're really hoping for it because the gardens really need it. The grass really needs it. I went ahead and watered my tomatoes because they were having a good bit of leaf curl. They're just getting a little thirsty, and watered some other things. But also, when you own a lawn care business, you kind of need the rain. It's one of those things where you need a good balance because you need enough rain to make the grass grow, but you need it to not be raining so you can actually go mow the grass. But we were in that phase of where Derek's having a lot of his weekly yards are skipping out on a week at this point because they just don't need it because of the lack of rain. So anyway, back to the garden tour because that was all completely beside the point, sort of. Here is my moon and stars. I have weeded a little bit around it. I mean, I'm not like, I really need to get out here and tear a lot of this out, but look at that. I love the spots on the leaves. They make me so happy. One of my absolute favorites to grow. You can see the perennial garden is just overcome with weeds. It's very difficult to keep up with it as far as weeds go. So we do our best, and I've gone through and found all the melons. There's a new watermelon coming up, and I've weeded around the baby melons. A lot of them didn't come up because of the chickens. Chickens came in here, scratched our seeds out. Here's another one. I believe that's going to be a sugar baby bush, if I'm correct. And then down here on the end, I have, there's 3, there were 4. The chickens must have scratched one out. There's one here, and one there, and one there. And there was one, you can see I had weeded around it, but the chickens have been terrible about scratching stuff, so they must have scratched it. Not very happy about that. These are zinnias, and they're really flowering a lot. You can see they're getting more and more buds on them. The girls keep coming out and cutting them when they flower, when the flowers come out, because they're called cut and come again. So they just they bush out and keep coming back. So they have been really excited. So my counter in the house has had lots and lots of zinnias, and I'm happy about it because they're beautiful, all different colors, and it's just nice to have fresh flowers in the house. Okay, down here we have, amongst the weeds, right there, cantaloupe. Over there we have our Big Mac's pumpkin, and then Kusha, and a sugar pie. On the end we have a Hale's Best. Let me walk a little closer because it's hard to see. A Hale's Best cantaloupe. Another cantaloupe right here, I'm not really sure. But that's about it for our melons right now. We are going to probably go ahead and throw a few more seeds in the ground soon. We need to get on that or else it'll be a little late. You can see the blue raspberries are starting to ripen. The kids are out here every day. They're almost there, grabbing anything that they think might be ripe. That was really good. So these are blue raspberries. And then the blackberries, the thornless blackberries, are putting on berries. They'll take a while to get ripe, but they are gonna be really, really big and sweet and delicious. So I am super excited about those. Tiptoeing through so I don't accidentally step on any of our very few little melon plants that we have, because that would just be sad. Oh, and my yarrow, I keep forgetting about it. I put it in the pots, they're doing pretty good. They were stuck over here to help them get some shade because they were really, really having a hard time with too much sunlight. I have a few little baby squash over here on the table that I really need to transplant. I forgot to water them this morning, so they need some water bad. I've got to get them out. We transplanted my purple Russians, and what was the other? Oh, the Dr. White cheese, sweet cheese, you know, whatever that is. Somebody gave me seeds, so I went ahead and planted them late. And then I have some poblanos. I know peppers are super slow. Don't know if I realistically have enough time for those peppers, but I was like, you know what? I'll put the seeds in, and if they grow and produce a little, then great. If not, I'm out a few seeds. All right, we're over here in the other garden. This is the okra bed. It was completely overtaken with weeds. We did originally have, we planted 50 something seeds. We had 20 something germinate, and I believe we're down to 13 or 14 because the weeds just took over and we did not keep up with it. So there's a few sticking up all over the place. We are going to come back through and reseed and add some more okra back in because we love okra. Came over here and really weeded this heavily. We're getting some baby zucchini down in there. We have baby squash, another squash. Our cucumbers are looking really, really good. We still haven't planted more. We need to come through and put more in because we don't have a whole lot, which is okay for me. I don't mind planting the cucumbers in succession because they're something that we do a lot of pickles, so we can a lot of them. So not having like a massive amount coming in at one time is okay, because then it just becomes a lot to try to process at one time. So let me show you something really sad, and this is why this netting is up. 2 of these cucumbers on the end here were doing phenomenal. Baby cucumbers, blooms everywhere. Well, this one didn't have blooms yet. This one was coming up, but this one had blooms and was, yeah. Chickens, scratched them out. I put them back in the ground. Came right back through behind me and scratched them out. 3 times I replanted those, and I really don't feel like they're coming back from that. It's kind of sad. Look at these squash. There's a weed. Let me pull that out. Squash are really coming on. We're gonna have, it looks like, enough come ripe at one time to have a little bit of a meal within a day or 2. So the squash are looking good. The cucumbers coming up. I need to plant some more. Now I'll keep the chickens out of here because these rotten things. We have my dill. So excited about my dill. For a while I wasn't sure if it was going to come up or not, but it's coming up. We have a good bit spread out through here because we like to use our own dill. Weed bed, the kids bed, there's their 2 green bean plants. They finally put their tomatoes in that they had in cups forever, but they need to come through and weed. But they have tied up the tomatoes that were laying on the ground, that have been laying on the ground. They finally, oh, this one fell. They finally tied them up because they were just getting crazy. And they really, look at this leaf curl. I did not come water these today. I really need to come over here and water them because they're really, really, really dry. Our potato beds, coming up great. I mean, I'm really pleased. That first row, the first row over there is red potatoes, and then the 2 rows here are both Kennebecks, and I'm so excited about them. Cannot wait. And the green beans, like I said, it was sparse coming in, and then of course the weeds are just awful. But these are my dragon tongue beans, and they're a little bit yellow. I'm not sure if the leaves are supposed to be that yellow or if it's just they're dry. I have watered them, not consistently, but I have tried to keep them watered. But look, they're starting to get blooms. I can't wait. These are gonna be so beautiful and delicious. I hope. They're supposed to be delicious. As excited as I am about them, they better be delicious, right? They ought to be. But we still haven't started. We have more seeds we're supposed to be putting in that we just haven't had time to do. I've got another green bean. It's a bush bean called Top Crop that I decided to try. So we're gonna put a row, climbing over this fence, a row of those in and see how they do. And then some more acorn squash, which we need to get in the ground like yesterday. More cucumber, more okra. I'm trying to think, I feel like, and then we got our pole beans. And if you saw that video, we did arch trellises of pole beans. Oh, and we do have another special seed that we still haven't put in yet as part of a special growing collaboration with Deep South Homestead. So anyway, the corn. Let me show you our corn. It is doing phenomenal. You can see, I don't know if you can tell, right here, yeah, the height difference in the corn. And that is because it's two different types of corn. Well, there's three. In the very front, where it's very sparse, was an old pack of seeds, which of course we had poor germination, just like everything else that we had older seeds from. And then the chickens really got in that little area and pecked and ate and scratched. So that kind of really messed that one up. But it's okay, I think we're gonna be all right. I think we're gonna have plenty of sweet corn. And I'm out of breath, let me stop for a second. We did our corn square foot gardening method. A lot of people were like, I have never seen anybody try to grow corn that close together like that. But we do it and it works for us. So for us, we're kind of like more bang for our buck. We need to grow a lot of food. So if we can condense it to a smaller space and grow more, then we're gonna do it because it just works for us. All right, this is my chair sitting there. You can see where I was sitting. My trellises, I'm so happy with them. And the pole beans, they haven't sprouted yet. We just did them the other day. But if this really does what I think it's gonna do, it's gonna be awesome. And I'm really excited. And just look at all my tomatoes. Look how big they've gotten. Makes me so happy. The nasturtiums are setting off flowers, and like my atomic grapes. I've heard like they're hard to tell when they're ripe. They take a long time. So if you pick them and eat them, they have like, before they're ripe, they have no flavor, which I mean, any tomato is gonna be like that. But they're supposed to be absolutely delicious when they're finally ripe. The blue gold berries are really looking beautiful. They're gonna, of course, turn a golden yellow, hence the name underneath, and they'll be blue on top. They're coming in so good. You can see some of them have perked up just since I watered, but see how much leaf curl, and it's starting to even get dry on the ends of the leaves. So this is a pineapple tomato, I believe. Oop, there's a weed. And with my nasturtiums there. This is a bell pepper, and look, I just noticed this morning when I came out here. It's a baby bell pepper. It's got a dried up flower on it. It's coming off. Look, isn't it awesome? I'm so excited. Nothing gets me as excited as little baby plants, tomatoes and peppers and green beans and anything. They just make me happy. So anyway, let's see what else we have. This is the great white, and it is getting huge. It has a little bug bite in it, so it might not really, I don't know, but look, it's starting to turn white. It's looking really good. It's getting really big. I mean, you can see, in my hand, I mean, it's huge already. It's a big tomato. And look at this cluster of San Marzanos. Those are great saucing tomatoes. And then these Amish paste, look at them. And the Romas, I think the Romas are just the cutest. They're these perfect little grapeling clusters right now. I know they'll get bigger and then they'll turn red, but they're just so cute. So we should have lots and lots of sauce. We've had a lot of people ask us what we're gonna do with all these tomatoes. They're like, can you really use 100 tomato plants? And how are you gonna do that? And what are you gonna do with that? Are you gonna have too much extra? And I think that we will actually really utilize all of them mostly for our family. I don't mind sharing. We love fresh tomatoes. You know, store-bought tomatoes are not the best. So we just love fresh tomatoes to eat them. And we can the rest. We're gonna do sauce because when you're feeding 10 people, it takes a lot. When we make spaghetti, we have to have a gallon of sauce. Like, we literally go through 4 jars, and organic store-bought spaghetti sauce, some of it isn't even very good, doesn't taste that great, but it's like over $3 a jar. And we use 3 to 4 pounds of beef, really, like usually 3 pounds. So fairly cheap, simple, quick meal like spaghetti turns into a pretty expensive dinner for our family of our size. So that's why when I say, yeah, we're gonna use, you know, all of these tomatoes, pretty much we're gonna just can sauce, we really will can it and use it, because like I said, we open 4 quarts, which is a gallon, of sauce every time we make spaghetti. And we make spaghetti fairly often because it is a quick and easy meal, and it's filling. Everybody can just, and everybody likes it. That's another thing. When you're feeding 10 people, you know, it's nice to make things everybody likes. So anyway, that is how we are going to use 100 tomato plants worth of tomatoes. These were my younger tomatoes, and they're coming up. The rest looked about like this last week. We really need to tie them up more. We started tying them down at the bottom, but they jumped up since then. So we need to tie them up more. Things are mostly under control. They get a little bit wild. But let me show you something. I want to show you this bed. So this is the kids' bed. And look at this side. Not a weed in sight. Like, it is beautiful. Completely groomed. I did come through and water everything in this bed a little bit ago. But this is Kylie's side of her bed. She has come out here and meticulously groomed her bed. Now, Emma loves to grow. Emma's like a passionate tomato plant growing maniac girl, just like me. But weeding is not her forte. God bless her. See her bed, and this is not any way negative at all, because she's amazing and she loves to grow, and she just has not had as much time to come out and weed her bed. She's had some other things she's been doing and focusing on, and Kylie had time the other day, so she just went through. But we were like, Kylie, you made us look bad. Look at the rest of our beds. And she was laughing, and I was like, you can do that to like the rest of them if you want. And she will. They'll pitch in help, and Emma's gonna get her bed in order on that side. It's just funny because when you look at them in a comparison, one's like a jungle and the other one is like all neat and clean. It's just funny. Just kind of made me laugh. So anyway, the greens are, let me go over there first and show you, because I forgot we actually do have broccoli heads. Finally, I forgot about them. Let's see, here it is. There's one little broccoli head, and I saw, oh, there's another one just starting to form down in there. And then over here, where'd it go? Right here. Ta-da! So we are starting to get broccoli. Obviously something is eating on our greens pretty bad. The romaine lettuce is gone. The bok choy has bolted. And we did pick a mess of peas the other day. Not a whole ton, and there's still more. And the kids have really been coming out here and just eating them raw because they're really good. They're like candy. We love raw peas in the garden. That's just like delicious. But those peas were just it's like we built the beds and I wanted to plant something and I had peas and it was about the right time, so I just threw them in the ground and they did all right. We didn't do anything to them. We didn't weed it. We didn't tend to them. So considering that, I'm pretty happy that we even got anything out of them at all. And this bed has cinnamon basil and then multiple peppers. This poblano is hanging on. It's still there and it's still growing, so I'm not giving up on it yet. I refuse to give up on anything. This pepper kind of fell over and I propped it up with dirt clods, literally, and now it's growing like a second plant. So we'll see how it does. What is that? It's my only jalapeno pepper. So I have one jalapeno and one chili pepper. So those two really need to do well because that's kind of, we can a lot of them. We use a lot, and I was really hoping that they would do well. This Kylie had this San Marzano. She actually saved it. It was dying, and she's tended to it in a cup, and she finally planted it in the ground. It would look great, and then the chickens came and scratched it out, and we reburied it and watered it, but it doesn't look too good, but that's sad. Then there was another one she put in. This is one of Emma's suckers she rooted. The leaves are curling a little bit. We'll see how it does. It was a whole branch. She suckered off. She's got some zinnias coming up in here. Not sure what else she planted over there. And then look, our melons. They're setting flowers. These are the Minnesota midgets. They're like a cantaloupe, from my understanding. I've never grown them before, but if I'm understanding correctly, this needs to go over here. Gentle. There we go. Now you climb, little baby melons. Climb. Oh, that's a weed. There we go. Got it. So I'm really pleased that those are finally coming up. Things are really coming together out here. It's crazy because this was just an empty space full of dreams and hopes, and now it's coming to fruition and fulfillment, full of lots of plants, lots of tomatoes and peppers and flowers, and just really excited. It's really exciting to finally be successful. It was, like I said, we had 3 years in Florida with just complete garden fills. They were failures every year. It was terrible. And to be able to actually do this successfully again, I mean, we grew very successfully here in Virginia before we moved to Florida. So to be able to come here and do this again successfully, it's just a huge relief, and it just makes me really happy and joyful, and it's exciting to know that I'm gonna be able to can all this stuff that we put so much effort and so much of ourselves. I mean, just our passion and our heart and our excitement into to grow. We're going to be able to just can it and put it up and feed our family throughout the year. From this investment is going to last us until the next year when we get to do it all over again. And that's one of the most beautiful and exciting things about growing a garden, in my opinion. Look at those trellises. They make me happy. I can just picture them with the beans growing over them, and then they'll just be a beautiful entryway into the tomato garden. So, as you can see, everything's grown a whole lot in a week, and it won't be much longer, and we will be harvesting, and I can't wait for that. I'm really, really excited about that. We're going to be getting some more things in the ground, so we'll bring you along for planting, of course, and that's about it for this time.